Hello, how y'all doing today? I am Dr. Nicole Brown here on this exciting to be here for Black Nurses Week. Okay, we are here for Black Nurses Week. It starts um, July the 26th and it goes to August the 1st. So we are doing Black Nurses Week. Very exciting to be able to bring you this opportunity. So I want to talk to you about Black Nurses Week. It all started with this lady right here, Mary Eliza Mahoney, and she started talking about, you know, improving nursing, also being able to offer nursing services in hospitals. Back in those days, they were only allowed to do nursing as independent contractors to people's homes. So that's how, and she was one of the first graduates. She was the first graduate as an African American registered nurse in the United States. Her graduation date was August the 1st. So we start Black Nurses Week from July 26th to August the 1st. Okay. Now, let me tell you about Miss Elizabeth Mary Eliza Mahoney. Okay. She was born May the 7th, 1845, and she died January 1926. And she was the first African American to work and study as a professional trained nurse in the United States. In 1879, she graduated. And out of 40 students, it was only two African Americans. And she was one of the ones who graduated. And she was the only African American. Four graduated. And two started out of the 40 as African Americans. So she was able to graduate. So it's so exciting to be able to honor her with Black Nurses Week. We're out here, and it's a special subset. We are the second largest subset of nurses in the country. So, and we want to talk about, some of the pros and cons of being, an African American or Black nurse. And I've been in a summit all week, Black Nurses Week Summit. So you can check that out on blacknursesweek.com. And hopefully next year you'll be able to be a part of Black Nurses Week. We also get together and have meetings online at least once a month. So if you're interested in learning more about Black Nurses Week, please go to blacknursesweek.com and sign up. Okay. So we wanted to talk about Miss Eliza Mahoney and all the things that she has done in her career. She received her nursing diploma, and she worked as a private duty nurse for many years for predominantly white families back in those times. Majority were moms and babies, and it was done in New Jersey. And of course, back in those days, African American nurses were not allowed to practice in the hospital setting. Okay. So she also worked on improving standards for African American nurses. She was also there, and they started the first the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses. She became the co-founder in 1908. She also was there to help us transition to the American Nurses Association. So those are some of the things, when we're talking about Black Nurses Week, we're celebrating and honoring Mary Eliza Mahoney. And this is a cover of the book that's written about her. And we here at the Nurse House definitely want to honor and celebrate our Black Nurses Week. Okay. So we're going to start off with her, and then we're going to add to it our conference, which was virtual with blacknursesweek.com. We had a nurse who was with the Black Angels. It's a movie about how nurses help cure tuberculosis. This has happened in New York. And at the time, white nurses, they ran away. The Black nurses stayed. And they worked on it. They helped the patients who had TB, and they also helped collect data and information to be able to come up with a solution to eradicate TB. So we were on the forefront. A lot of people don't know all the things that nurses do or what nurses have contributed to. And we had a nurse who, Miss Virginia, she was there, and she's the last survivor. She's 93 years old, of the Black Angels. And she's 93 years old. And she was there talking to us today about, all the contributions the nurses did in those days. So I want to keep up her book, the book that is about the Black Angels, about African American nurses. Now, in addition to that, let's talk about some other nurses for Nurses Week. We want to also acknowledge Mary Seacole. Now, she was back in the 1800s, and this is the cover of her book. She wrote her own book, From the Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands. She was Jamaican nurse, and she was able to help in the Crimean War. That was in England. And during that time, she was able to, use her herbal remedies to help the soldiers in the Crimean War. So we always honor Miss Mary Seacole. Okay, she's one of the first nurse African Americans that we are able to honor. Next up, I want to talk about Harriet Tubman. A lot of people don't know, but she was a nurse for the Dumont family, the people who owned her, and very prominent back in those days. That's how a lot of African Americans women bought their freedom. They worked as nurses or midwives back in the olden days. Okay, so Harriet Tubman, we honor her as a African American nurse, a historical nurse. Okay. Also, we want to acknowledge Miss Susie King Taylor. She was a nurse back in the Civil War. She was very prominent. And remember, all of these people are listed at the in the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. There are over 9 to 10 nurses that are listed. And we have pictures, and you have such examples of African American nurses. And I'm going to post from last year. I have a lot of nurses that I took pictures of that were in the African American Museum, because our conference last year for Black Nurses Week was in Washington, D.C., and we went to the museum. Okay. So next up, we have, and I love this one right here. My favorite, The Path We Tread, Blacks in Nursing Worldwide. This is from Elizabeth Carnegie. She was a professor at Hampton University, and she wrote a book. And it started with nurses from 1854 all the way to 1994, which miraculously is the same year I graduated nursing school, in 1994. So I love this book. This is the third version of it, and I have all 3 copies in my collection. And I love being able to hear the stories of how African American nurses came to be, and all the contributions that we've made in the United States. Very helpful. Next up, Tuskegee Airmen Nurse. All right, and this is going to be from the from the memories of the Tuskegee Airmen Nurse and her military sisters. This is Pia Marie Winters Jordan. And I know her daughter wrote this book, put all the stories that she had, and talked about how the nurses were helping with the Tuskegee Airmen. And, we wouldn't even know these things. She's also in the African American Museum. So very important to know this information. And also, of course, I got to talk about my aunt now. Brigadier General Hazel Johnson Brown was my aunt. She is the first African American woman to come to be of the ranking of general in the United States Army. She's also married to my Uncle Davy. My Uncle Davy just passed this year. So they are together again. They were still close, even though they divorced, and they still talk to each other. I think they had a friendly divorce. But we want to also honor our military nurses. That's a subset that's really overlooked. How African American women have been military nurses and been so prevalent in all the contributions that we've made. So those are some of the things that we wanted to talk to you all about today. The Black Nurse Angels out of New York fighting TB, and also we are honoring Black Nurses Week. It's all about Mary Eliza Mahoney, how we start July 26th all the way to August 1st, which is the day that she graduated from nursing school. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in to us. And also, let me stand up and show you. This is my shirt from conference from last year. Now, this year we did a virtual conference with the Black Nurses Week. But last year we were in person, and this is my t-shirt. It's so cute. So I'll try to wear this sometimes, especially when celebrating her birthday, which is May 7th. That's during Nurses Week. And also we have our Black Nurses Week. So we got to make sure we represent. Okay. So this is from the Nurse Dolls. Check us out at thenursedolls.com. We love to connect with you more. We need more nurses. That's why we have all of these dolls and books from the Adventures of Nurse Nicole Ennis for Nurses, the free book that comes with the dolls. We also have free workbooks and free activity guides on thenursedolls.com. So come check us out. We love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And you all have an awesome week.